Hello, and welcome to the 19th BOH Cameronian Arts Awards on set. My name is Miriam, and joining us today are Megan and Karen, the nominees for Best Choreographer in Musical Theatre. So let's just get right into it. Megan, what was your experience like in this production?
So I'm familiar with this material. So when I was in LaSalle in Singapore, the year under me did it for their graduation musical, I think. And I immediately fell in love with the music. I was like, if I ever had the opportunity to do this show in any capacity, I was like, please.
Give it to me.
Give it to me.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then so obviously the stars aligned, and Monday show was like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this show, and we want you to choreograph. I was like, yes. So yeah, it was really fun. I worked with the Monday show team a lot, and I am familiar with most of the cast members, but then some of the newer cast members had to kind of suss out what they were good at, what they were not so good at. And so my kind of developmental process is just, I took a few keywords from the music, the lyrics, and then, okay, I'm throwing out a word, and then you guys show me something, what inspires movement, and then I took those movements and I put it all together, and that's the opening number.
Wow.
Yeah, basically
Okay.
That's that, yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to circle back to you on that.
Plus, yes.
But Karen, tell us about your experience with this.
My experience, actually, I wasn't trained as a choreographer. I was trained as a performer, as a dancer. So my background would be contemporary dance. More. So once I entered Chempaka, so I was like, I have to teach. Okay, I have to teach the kids, and then of course we have lots of events in Chempaka. So we will have to choreograph. So that's when I slowly get into choreographing, and then slowly I teach the kids. Teaching a kid is not as the same as teaching adults. It's
Yes.
really different. So you have to deal with their emotions, and then you have to teach them the very basic things where you don't need to bother about that when you are teaching an adult. So so slowly I and in Chempaka we focus more on musical theatre, and that's the first time I actually joined musical theatre before, but as a performer, not as a choreographer. So when I come to Chempaka, I slowly work with the director, and then slowly I do some research. Of course, I watch a lot of shows, and then to get ideas, and then how does musical theatre work actually. So and then slowly I worked with the students, and then slowly I think I worked in Chempaka for 9 years already. So yeah, I think 7 or 8 musicals together with them. They have more, but yeah, that's the experience I slowly built from there.
You talked about how it's so different, teaching children and adults. For this, with Spooks the musical, you had to work with 80 kids?
Yes, 80 of them.
What was that like?
Chaos. It's really, honestly, it's really challenging. And then we have both of us, the choreographers, me and my colleague, Gloria. She's not here today. Most of our students, they actually don't have any experience, stage performing experience. So they're totally fresh and zero. So we will have to teach them the very basic things, such as how do you enter the stage, how do you exit the stage after you've done a performance. But musical theatre is different. You don't perform dance, and then you go. No, you don't do that. You stay there, and then you react to the cast, and then only you leave the stage. So every single basic things we will have to teach them. From very basic things. And then of course, there's so many of them and so many sets on stage. So that's where the biggest challenge is to how to get everyone to work together. Yes, that's the biggest challenge. So during the rehearsal, every rehearsal, we teach them the choreography, work on the choreography. We have to constantly implant the idea of working together into them. So, but how? Okay, so we'll tell them every rehearsal you have to tell them you have to work work with each other. So you have to, like, for example, you practice the choreo together, correcting the dance step together with each other, and then also like checking out for each other. For example, before you enter the stage. So, am I look fine? Is my hair okay? Is my costume okay? Did you bring your props? Did you miss your cue? Is your cue correct? That kind of thing. So we have to do that in every rehearsal. Get them to practice to get the momentum with each other, everybody. And most importantly, I think, is the support. The more support, because there are so many of them, the more support with each other is important, no matter it's from cast to the ensemble, or the ensemble to the musicians, even the crew. The stage crew are also our students. So yeah, so the emotional support is really important. So from the rehearsal, every time they apply it. We are pushing them, of course, we are pushing them so to get them to work together. And then so from there they build the momentum together. And then when things happen, we all know accident happen on stage, and then even not on stage all the time. So by that time, that's where you see the teamwork working together, because they have each other's back. At the end of the day, you will see, like, I think in 2 months' time, you'll be surprised. Some of the students, they from very passive, quiet, shy person. After the production journey, they totally change. They learn and grow so much. So they turn into like a proactive, a confident person, and a very responsible person as well. Yes, this is also one of our aim, not just to train them how to perform on stage, but also like to see them learn and grow.
And that speaks so much about the value of performing arts and dance to children.
For sure.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I've always been a believer that performing arts has always been a human first thing, as opposed to like, I mean, yes, you know, artistry and art and all of that stuff, but you know, to be able to go through the rigorous rehearsal process, it takes a lot of values that can help shape children's futures to be like a useful human being, you know. And it's like we see a lot of struggles, especially with the pandemic. You know, kids were like isolated from each other, and so pushing them back into being able to socialize with each other and like learn how to speak in front of people is such an important skill. And definitely performing arts has like a fundamental role in just shaping humans, be humans. Being humans. Yeah.
And movement is such, you know, it's pivotal. It's so important to choreography.
Correct.
You talked a little bit about how, you know, you took some keywords and then threw it to the person and went, interpret that. Move. So did you have like an idea of how you wanted to choreograph and then tweaking it with the cast?
Okay, so with Monday show, it's slightly different. So we have an adult cast, but it's in a similar situation where some of them have like literally never been on stage before, never sung, act, dance in front of other humans before. So that was the first sort of like barrier that we had to pass, right? It's like, okay, guys, this is happening, okay? You're gonna go at the end of the month, you're gonna go on stage.
You're gonna do this.
You're gonna do this. And our set is real, like the way the stage is set up, it's really immersive. So it feels like you're part of the island. So literally the performers and the audience is like this far apart. So that was also another thing that they had to get used to. But talking about the movement, so what me, what I had in mind was like, okay, I already kind of sort of knew what sort of like movement style I didn't want. And sometimes it's better, even if you don't know what you want, at least you know you don't know what you want.
You know what you don't want.
Yes, correct. So I knew I didn't want to have like traditional musical theater, jazz hands, fan kicks, because that's real. That's gonna pull you from the world that they're in. You know, they're set on this island. It's giving like kampong spirit vibes, you know?
Like island vibes, man. You come in jazz hands.
No. That's like, you know? And if you're familiar with the story, the island is split between like the rich and the poor. And the rich have influences from like the West or the French. So whenever we got to that part of the island, everything's a little bit more pulled up. a little bit more
Okay.
sophisticated. But before we reach that part of the island, everything's really grounded and they're like connected to the earth, which, you know, themes and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we explored that, what their bodies would feel like being in the poorer part of the island and then the richer part of the island, how that shift would take place. Because the ensemble plays both.
Yes.
They will start out in the poor and then Magic Theater, suddenly they're also the rich people.
rich people.
Yes.
So that was for the ensemble. And for the four gods, we have the god of water, the god of death, the god of love, and then the god of Mother Nature. I had individual sessions with them to also kind of like see what their movement styles suit best on their bodies.
Okay.
So that I could then choreograph best to them. Because you want to make them look good. You don't want to like throw choreography on actors and then
Yeah,
they're like, I'm dying. I can't. And then they
Unless they're the god of death, Lord.
correct.
In character,
So that was really a good process for me because I haven't really had the luxury to go so far in terms of like my developmental process like that. So I got to have one-on-one time with them. We talked and we discussed like, okay, what do you think, you know, what do you think your character is feeling at this moment? Like how would they move if let's say another god attacked them? How would they respond? And then they would show me a move. I'm like, yeah, let's follow that train of thought. And then the choreography kind of like went around that motif. I also had a great team. I had 2 dance captains and an associate choreographer.
Okay.
So, you know, more brain cells, the better.
Especially when it's something that's been restaged. and,
Correct.
You know, so many
and
iterations.
we definitely wanted to like put our own stamp on it.
Yes.
And our director, Dominic, was like very adamant from day one. It's like, we are not trying to copy the Caribbean setting. We're not trying to like do their version of the show. We're trying to do our version of the show. So to me, that really meant that it was super important for me to bring out like the cast's personal strengths so that it was really our flavor of the show.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most like exciting thing for me about working on this show, because I did choreograph another musical earlier this year and last year.
Yeah.
And that was very, very traditional musical theater. Jazz hands, kick your face, you know? Which is great, you know? And there's always merits to like exploring both as a choreographer. But like the artistry of it all, you know, you can really get to deep dive if you have the opportunity to deep dive into like the actor and then follow their thought process. And then it's like, how does that translate to movement? Yeah.
So you work with a lot of kids in a school setting, and with the rise of TikTok and technology, a lot of dance moves out there. How does it make you feel like?
I mean, I kind of upset, honestly, when I watch. I seldom watch like TikTok videos, but obviously my students, my kids are so into it, so they record video every day. Every day, seriously. During the class, maybe during our lunch, their lunch break, their break time. Yes. They would just grab someone and just do some TikTok dance video. But honestly, I look at the video, they are not really dancing. For me, they are not dancing, they are just moving and just, I don't know, with a pretty face and then with the hair and then, I don't know, I kind of feel like upset where the generation now are so into this kind of thing, this kind of dance. Okay, this kind of, I mean, it's not dancing. They're not really dancing. They're just waving. They're moving and then wiggling. I think not really dancing. I don't think it's art for me. Actually, it's not an art for me. And then I hope actually they really learn something and then they can. I mean, dance video is fine because we are in a generation where we do a lot of videos. I mean, that's a good thing, but you have to create a value in it, not just for the sake of doing it to gain likes and views, not just for that, but to do something that is really, that has value in it. To create the value is important. Like, for example, you learn a choreography, it takes time. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, and then it takes a lot of like, you might struggle. Some of the things maybe you cannot do, like for contemporary dance. A lot of movements is so challenging. So, but the process, you learn, and then you grow, and then you actually create a value for yourself. And then when you look back, oh, maybe you were a dancer, a person that can't really dance, can't really move, but at the end of the day, you go through this struggling process, and then you gain something, and then ultimately you can dance, and then that's where you grow. That's how you grow, how you learn. I feel the generation now should create some values instead of just for the sake of the likes and views. Yeah.
Actually, I do want to jump in on
Go
that.
ahead, yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't consider myself Gen Z, and also I don't think I'm Gen Z because I'm 31. But
Millennium.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
I do kind of see how the landscape of dance has changed, especially with the 2 years that we were all just locked in.
Not
The way that the art form has shifted from being in person to video. You know, a lot of dance creators have actually been able to platform themselves because of TikTok. And I wouldn't say they aren't dancing because they are dancers.
Yes.
But I do agree in that there is a difference between just mimicking a dance trend.
Yeah.
I would still say they're dancing, but like maybe I wouldn't put somebody who does TikTok trends for fun on the same level as somebody who has like devoted their lives to training. And I think that's such a big disparity which people don't really recognize yet, because you're like, dance is dance. And I guess on some like deep primal level, yes, dance is dance, but like I would meet, you know, people who aren't in our industry, and they're like, oh, you're a dancer, so you know the ting ting tang tang dance. And I'm like, I do, but that's not all I do, you know what I mean? So I think there has to be like a bigger conversation about like what this world of TikTok dance plays. Like I think it's like a good jumping off point, but I think people should like dive deeper, go to class, learn, you know?
Learn what it is like.
Yeah.
And as both of you have said, in one measure, you're not just, you know, picking up trends and mimicking, and here's the piece. Ta-da! No, right?
Correct.
You gotta work the script, you gotta work the whole music.
The process is the important part.
the process is important.
Well, thank you so much for those reflections. Very meaningful. And congratulations once again on your nominations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.